Hey everyone, you're listening to my podcast Suchitra's Life with me, Suchitra. I'd like to know your first ever experience of trying out eating a mushroom. What were your initial thoughts around it? Did they look cute and delicious, or did they just repel you away? And what if I tell you that those teeny tiny beings are the next thing for our future? It sounds incredible, doesn't it? Well, I've got Rawnak Dutta on my podcast, and we got talking all about mushrooms and their farming. So let's get started. Hi, Ronak. Welcome to my podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, Suchitra. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, it's all my pleasure. I mean, you're doing something really interesting, and I couldn't stop myself from dragging you here onto my podcast. And yeah, before we begin, I'd like to know a bit about where you from and where are you now, and where is your mushroom farming happening at the moment. All the details. Go ahead.
Right, right. So I'm originally from Kolkata city, West Bengal.
Mm-hmm.
However, I grew up in Gangtok, Sikkim.
Okay.
It's a Himalayan state in the northeast. My current farm is in Bangalore, south of Bangalore, and I've been farming since 2019 commercially.
Okay.
And I got into mushroom farming in 2018, we can say, just experimenting by myself at home.
Oh, at home, like how?
So there's a very interesting hobby. It's called my hobby mycology. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so it's mainly people like me who are obsessed with mushrooms
Mm.
because they're very strange, alien-looking things,
Yeah.
and if you observe them under a microscope, especially, you'll get into a completely different world.
Mm.
So the way mushrooms appear
Mm-hmm.
are they are actually fruits of a fungus.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So they're quite similar to the mold that forms on bread, let's say stale bread.
Yeah.
You know, the green stuff.
Yeah.
Even those have mushrooms, but we can't see them with our naked eye.
Oh.
But the mushrooms that we eat, they are called macrofungi,
Oh.
meaning they are larger in scale.
Mm-hmm.
So all fungi in the world, they produce mushrooms of one sort or the other.
All right.
So it was very interesting for me. It still interests me to. It'll always be one of my hobbies.
Okay.
And through 2018, I tried growing them at home in my home, one room of my house.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2019, I tried, selling it to friends and family. Then slowly to shops around me, vegetable shops,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how it began. 2020 was very difficult.
Yeah.
However, somehow we managed.
Mm-hmm.
And 21, 22, and the 2023, I've been doing it commercially.
Okay. So, um, like you've mentioned earlier, the fungus that we see on the bread that is just expired, that
Correct.
also is a mushroom, but we can't see that it's a.
Yes. So mushrooms are the reproductive organ of the fungus.
Oh.
Just like a fruit would be the reproductive organ of a plant, of a fruiting tree.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, a mushroom is the one which helps the fungus reproduce.
Oh.
Depending on the variety of the fungus, it will either have
Hmm.
two like in a sexual
Yeah.
reproduction.
Hmm.
Otherwise, the mushroom itself will divide into multiple organisms.
Oh.
But it's the mushroom which is the carrier of the seed of the mushroom, we can say,
Mm-hmm.
of the fungus.
That is amazing. So,
Yes.
so you said you started growing them at your home. So how did you set it up? Like, I know a little bit about hydroponics, but I don't think mushrooms would grow through hydroponics. I don't know. I'm totally
No. So even though mushroom is farmed, it's a different order of living thing. Okay,
Mm.
it has more in common with animals than it has with plants.
Oh,
Yes, the mushrooms, they breathe out carbon dioxide just like us.
really?
Yes, yes, yes.
I
So
didn't know about this at all. Oh.
the thing with mushroom farming is it's complementary to farming the plants. So the soil in which the compost in which mushroom grows
Mm-hmm.
can be utilized for plant nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you have a hydroponic setup inside your mushroom farm,
Mm-hmm.
then you can utilize the high CO2 waste gases to produce, flowering species or any plant variety that requires, high CO2 environment to mature.
Okay. All right. So so how did you do it? So what was your, like, let's say you said you started selling it to your family and friends. So how much
Right.
would be the produce typically, at your home when you
Okay. So I'll just give you some metrics. In 100 square feet of carpet area
mm-hmm.
with a 9 feet ceiling,
Mm-hmm.
this is an average Indian home, 9 feet ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
You can produce up to 1 quintal of mushrooms in a month.
Wow.
Even more if you can manage the carbon dioxide being produced.
Mm-hmm.
But within 100 square feet, meaning 10 foot by 10 foot, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
you can produce up to 1 quintal of mushrooms at a bare minimum.
Okay.
So how I got started is I bought in the very beginning I bought ready to fruit bags. Okay, these are called RTF bags.
Mm-hmm.
These are sold by the Indian Institute of Horticulture Research,
Okay.
IIHR, at Hesargata in Bangalore.
Okay.
They have various extension centers all over India.
Mm-hmm.
So for anybody listening, they want to pursue this as a hobby,
Yeah.
they can simply visit the closest Gandhi Krishi Vigyan Kendra or Horticulture University, Agriculture University.
Mm-hmm.
They will provide you these ready-to-fruit mushroom bags.
Okay.
What these are is they are almost ready to get into a fruiting condition.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'll explain to you what a fruiting condition is. Mushrooms first, they will the fungus, as I told you earlier,
Mm-hmm.
the fungus needs to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we provide it nutrition in the form of carbon source and the nitrogen source.
And that would be the rotting
Right.
materials.
So a carbon source would be for, let's say, for oyster mushrooms, a carbon source is straw, rice straw, paddy straw, wheat straw,
Mm-hmm.
soybean hulls, any number of agricultural wastes which have a high carbon ratio.
Mm-hmm.
It could also be forestry waste,
Mm-hmm.
sawdust, what do you call them, wood chips, sawdust,
Mm-hmm.
anything which has which can be a source of carbon for the mushroom to eat.
Oh.
And the nitrogen source
Mm-hmm.
would be anything which has nitrogen, such as sugar,
Mm-hmm.
molasses,
Mm-hmm.
bran of wheat bran, rice bran,
Yeah.
soybean meal,
Mm-hmm.
mustard cake meal, n number of nitrogen sources, sugarcane bagasse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
so these RTF bags already have the mushroom fungus in them,
Mm-hmm.
and they also have the it's called a substrate, basically a mixture of carbon and nitrogen in a specific ratio
Mm-hmm.
suitable for the exact species of mushroom.
Okay.
And the mushroom fungus needs to eat through that entire thing.
Mm.
It's called colonization, so it needs to be incubated at a certain temperature
Okay.
for a period of time, and after it eats through the whole thing, then it wants to reproduce because it doesn't have any more food to eat.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
That's when we introduce that fungus which has eaten the substrate into a fruiting condition.
Mm.
Fruiting condition will have very high humidity.
Mm.
And we cut those RTF bags,
Okay.
and from the point of incision, in a few days, the mushrooms start popping out.
Okay.
This is, I'm telling you about oyster mushroom specifically.
Mm.
The common button mushroom is cultivated in a completely different manner.
Okay. So what are the different types of mushrooms that you grow and what are their characteristics? I mean, I know like the usual button mushrooms that we get in supermarket, I'm only aware of those and nothing beyond them. So I
Right.
would want
So
to.
I'll tell you more about the button mushroom and how it's different from the ones that I grow.
Mm-hmm.
Button mushrooms are secondary decomposers.
Okay.
Okay. So I think if you harken back to your school days, you must have gone through the circle of life, the
Yeah.
what do you call that net? What net is that?
Environmental, I think.
Yeah, the primary composers,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, plants, phototrophs, autotrophs, saprotrophs, heterotrophs,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So among them, mushrooms are of two varieties. One of them are primary decomposers,
Mm-hmm.
the others are secondary decomposers.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Button mushrooms will grow on, as I told you earlier, the substrate which has already been partially digested.
Mm-hmm.
By partially digested, I mean either another mushroom has eaten it earlier, digested it, or host of other bacteria or other fungi have already eaten and digested it, broken it down.
Okay. Hmm.
So button mushroom grows on composted straw,
Mm.
whereas oyster mushrooms will grow on fresh straw.
Okay, got it.
Right. And currently I'm cultivating only primary decomposers.
Mm-hmm.
So on one hand, I'm growing four varieties of oysters.
Oh.
So I'm growing elm oyster,
Mm-hmm.
pink oyster, yellow oyster, and gray oysters.
Mm-hmm.
And these are all growing in ragi straw
Oh.
as the substrate, which is a very environmentally friendly
Mm.
because this is agricultural waste which would otherwise be burnt.
Oh. And you do have the supply of this agricultural waste? Like, is it easy to get these things?
It's both easy and difficult. Okay, volumetrically it's difficult to procure
Mm.
because the volume of this agricultural waste is huge.
Mm.
1 kg is at least uh, one one truck trailer
Mm-hmm.
will only hold around 5 to 7 metric tons
Okay.
because it's volumetrically very low density.
Mm. Mm.
So it needs to be transported from outskirts of Bangalore into here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah. So, but it's very cheap. That's the other like benefit we can say.
Yeah, because anyways they're trying to get rid of it. And
Correct, correct.
yeah. All right. And what are the main challenges that you face as a mushroom farmer in your region and market? Like you said, 2020 wasn't that great at all. And how did you pick up after 2020? What were the challenges?
So after 2020, I branched out into the cultivation of these other varieties as well,
Mm-hmm.
which grow on sawdust.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, these fetch a much higher market value,
Mm-hmm.
even wholesale. So currently, I'm growing these as well simultaneously.
Okay.
The varieties are Shimeji, Shiitake, King Oyster, and Inoki. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so they grow on sawdust as the substrate or the soil which the mushroom eats.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah.
The oysters will grow in straw,
Mm.
but these four varieties grow in sawdust.
Okay.
And these fetch a very high market value, and I was able to recoup a lot of my losses by selling these.
Oh.
Now coming to the challenges that I face, okay, in the Indian context specifically,
Mm-hmm.
Number one issue is consumer awareness.
Mm.
Okay, so a lot of people, vegetarians mostly,
Mm.
think of mushrooms as something that is non-vegetarian because it's neither plant nor animal. They
Yeah.
ha so they refrain from eating it, citing either dietary preferences or religious compulsion.
Mm. Mm.
So to break their inhibition and to make them try it and to explain the various health benefits associated with eating mushrooms regularly,
Mm-hmm.
that is a huge undertaking. Okay,
Yeah. Mm.
so a lot of time and effort is of mine is spent in educating people
Mm.
that you can eat these. It's completely vegetarian, vegan, gluten free.
Mm. Mm.
They're very tasty. It's not meat. No animal needs to die for producing mushrooms,
Mm-hmm.
such and such.
Okay.
And the second issue that I have faced personally is regulatory compliances. Okay,
Mm.
with the government.
Okay.
So because mushrooms require such low footprint
Mm.
to grow,
Mm.
I do it in an urban environment, right?
Yeah.
So the zoning laws are very tricky here.
Mm.
So to pass off an urban areas such as a godown or warehouse space as an agricultural unit is exceedingly difficult.
Mm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so things like the electricity supply,
Mm.
the FSSAI license is necessary for any agricultural operation. Okay,
Yeah.
and these things are very difficult to sort out if you're doing it in an urban environment.
Yeah, because you're not using land as agricultural land per se, but you
Correct.
are,
But I'm doing agriculture.
yeah, enclosed space, and of course the land is involved, but not like how a farmer of a different
How
vegetable.
traditional agriculture is done.
Yes, so yeah, it gets tricky then.
Yes, yes.
So you were able to navigate all of that successfully.
Yes, yes, yes. Thankfully, thankfully.
Yeah. Because now I'm thinking like I've never really thought of all of this. Like, oh, okay, so land is used, but not the way traditionally it's used. So,
Correct.
exactly. So, how do you ensure the quality or safety of your mushrooms? Like you said, this FSSAI certification is something that is mandatory and all. Apart from that, any other thing? I mean, like for agricultural, typically for other vegetables and stuff, they spray pesticides and all. So,
Right. No, but so here's another thing that I'll tell you about mushrooms.
mhm.
By nature itself, I don't know. I mean, there are crooked people everywhere. That in general, mushrooms, because they're such a finicky creature,
Mhm.
they don't tolerate any harsh chemicals.
Oh.
So the best way actually to grow mushrooms is organically,
Mm.
just by convention.
Mm.
And that's what I do. It's actually completely organic. However, I don't have an organic certification yet.
Mm.
I'll apply for it in the near future.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the mushroom, because it's a fungus, right?
Mm.
It's very susceptible to minute, chemical imbalances.
But
So,
do they get attacked by pests and all? Like how?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
How
So
do you deal with that?
uh, there are two different ways in which mushroom farming can be affected.
Mm-hmm.
Firstly, there can be contamination.
Mm.
Okay, by competing organisms.
Mm.
Other fungi might find the substrate or the carbon nitrogen source tasty, so
Mm.
they'll start eating, and then they'll try to kill off the mushroom, the fungus which I'm trying to cultivate.
Oh my.
This is in a very simplistic manner I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. And the other contamination source could be bacterial blotch
Mm.
or other microorganisms. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And there are other things such as fungus gnats. So these are small flies
Mm-hmm.
which lay their eggs inside the fungal mat, the substrate,
Okay.
and their eggs they hatch
Mm-hmm.
inside the mushroom bag,
Okay.
and then the mushroom, when it is fruiting, no,
Mm-hmm.
as I told you, out of that incision,
Mm-hmm.
the mushroom suffers very badly because it's infested with the maggot of the fungus gnat,
Oh.
the babies of the fungus gnat.
Oh. Okay.
So the only way to deal with fungus gnats organically
Mm-hmm.
is to make sure that all the entry points and exit points, they are completely sealed, or what do you call them? They have a screen,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
something similar to a mosquito screen
Yeah.
that we tie in front of our windows at home. Something similar to that, a mechanical screen.
Mm.
And the other way is to make sure that you have a UVC light, which attracts the fungus gnats, the flies, into the light.
Okay.
There's another way. It's called a pheromone trap.
Mm.
Okay, pheromone traps are specially designed patches
Mm.
which have a pheromone sprayed onto them.
Okay.
Pheromones are can be smelled by these insects. All of us, we produce pheromones. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so for example, we sometimes we are attracted to another human being. Okay, just by their body odor.
Yeah.
You understand? They smell nice, we say, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's subconsciously our brain is telling us their pheromones are attractive.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, the fungus gnats, they or other pests, they find the pheromone in the pheromone patch attractive, and they fly towards it, and then they get caught in a glue.
Okay. Yeah. Exactly.
That's how mechanically we can avoid these pests. And to avoid the contamination, the only way is to make sure your environment is laboratory grade. It's completely clean.
Okay.
You need to use alcohol. You need to do it in front of a HEPA filter, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever mushroom farming related work is there, we have to prepare the mushroom spawn
Mm-hmm.
out of tissue culture of the mushroom.
Okay.
And yeah, so the if you allow me, I'll get into a little detail about this.
Yes. Yes. Please.
So if you purchase mushrooms from the supermarket,
Mm-hmm.
you can easily replicate them and grow your own from them.
Really?
So yes. All you've got, there are two ways you can go about this.
Mm-hmm.
Firstly is you take a tissue culture sample. So biopsy, it's called.
Mm-hmm.
So you cut the mushroom using a scalpel,
Mm-hmm.
and from within it, right in between, you take out a small piece of the mushroom,
Mm-hmm.
and you lay it on a petri dish filled with agar. Okay, this is it's called potato dextrose agar.
Oh.
It's a nutrient medium.
Okay. Where do we get this?
You can buy it online through Amazon, Flipkart.
Okay. It's called.
It will come with. It's called potato dextrose agar
Oh.
medium.
Okay.
So all you've got to do is you've got to pressure cook this medium
Mm-hmm.
and then transfer it to a very clean environment.
Mm-hmm.
By very clean, I mean that there's no in a home in a house. I'd say in a cupboard or something similar where there is no movement of dirty air.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you transfer the piece of mushroom into the agar medium.
Okay.
You incubate it for a while, 10 to 15 days,
Mm-hmm.
and then you transfer this agar medium. You cut it up into small pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Will it be? I think it will be easier for you to visualize it by, these jellies that we get
Yes. Yes.
uh, in cups, lychee jelly, mango jelly.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
Ha. So the agar medium is exactly that. It's a jelly basically.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay.
And it gets infected with this fungus out of that mushroom tissue.
Okay.
And then further we cut up that jelly, that cake or jelly,
Mm-hmm.
and then we introduce it into boiled grain.
Boiled grain.
Grains, yes. Grains such as ragi.
Okay.
Ragi millet would be the best.
Hmm.
Secondly would be popcorn. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, popcorn without the oil and salt.
Hmm.
Just freshly popped corn,
Hmm.
or you could use wheat grain
Yeah, like
or
something
oats.
you need to feed on. Some food.
Yeah, for the fungus to feed on.
Yeah, yeah.
So at any number of these various steps,
Hmm.
you could introduce contamination, okay,
Hmm.
into that final bag, the bag from which the mushroom grows.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
you've got to be very careful. I am lucky I've been able to, manage a HEPA flow hood and other laboratory equipment
Yeah.
to get the things done. But you can find tutorials online that go into very great detail
Hmm.
about doing it at home.
Okay. So there are some tools involved as well, like equipment and all.
If you're doing it commercially, yes. If you want to do it as a hobby, you could make do with household supplies,
Ah.
home pressure cooker.
Hmm.
Maybe if you have an air purifier lying around at home,
Hmm.
like a Philips air purifier or anything like that, you could use that.
Hmm. Yeah, got it.
Right.
Yeah, so it starts feeding on whatever grains we give, and
Yes.
then the mushrooms start popping up.
No, no, no. So again, then once the grain has been completely eaten by the fungus,
Mm.
then we introduce the grain into the either the straw, as I told you earlier, the ragi or whatever straw you have,
Mm-hmm.
or into sawdust, or whatever the final medium is in which you are cultivating it.
Oh, okay.
This is called spawning,
Spawning. Okay.
or inoculation also it's called.
Okay. Okay.
Huh. And then again, you'll have to incubate the bag of this compost,
Mm.
the substrate,
Mm.
for n number of days, depending on the species.
Mm.
And then final step is, oh, so you have to prepare apart from the grain, when you are preparing the substrate,
Mm.
if you are using straw as a substrate, okay,
Mm.
there's a additional few steps.
Mm.
Firstly, you've got to soak the sawdust in water, okay, lime water.
Oh, okay.
This is called lime pasteurization. It's the cheapest option available.
Mm.
So you just you in 1 liter of water,
Mm.
the ratio would be 100 grams of lime, quick lime.
Okay.
Quick lime is what people put in pan leaves. You understand?
What people put in?
People eat pan, right? Pan,
Yeah. Yeah.
chewing beetle leaf.
Yes. Oh, okay.
They put smear a white paste on it, right?
I was thinking the other lime, lemon lime.
No, no, no. This is sweet lime.
Okay, yeah, this one exactly.
Right, right, right. It's not the other lime. No, no, no.
Okay. My knowledge is zero in mushroom farming, so you have to excuse me.
Yes, it's my fault. It's lime is also another name for lemons, no?
Yeah, so I was thinking, okay, so in water, I need to squeeze lemon water. That's what I was thinking.
No, no, no. This has to be that lime, white color paste lime.
Okay.
100 grams in 1 liter of water,
Mm-hmm.
so that the you understand the pH levels, right? Acidic, basic, neutral.
Mm.
So if you put lime in water, it will become very basic.
Oh, okay.
pH will be above 7,
Oh, okay.
and that will kill off most competing organisms.
I never knew
In
all of this. I mean,
Right, right. In the straw, you will already have lots of microorganisms in it, no?
mm,
It's coming out of a farm. It's being threshed by people
mm,
to get the grains out.
yeah.
So the straw, after it has been soaked in lime water, you need to wring it out like you wring out clothes,
Yeah.
wet clothes. You need to wring it out,
Mm-hmm.
and ideally the straw needs to be at field capacity.
And what would
By field capacity, I mean any soil or compost which if you grab a handful of
mm,
and you squeeze it ever so slightly,
mm,
there's only 1 or 2 drops of water that come of it.
Okay.
It needs to be that wet. It can't be too wet or too dry.
Oh, okay.
Right. And then you stuff it in the bag.
Hmm.
You smear a layer of the grain spawn that we earlier we grew,
Yeah.
and then we again fill it up with another layer of the straw.
Hmm.
And this is inside a bag, mind you. This is inside a plastic bag.
Yeah, not in open air.
No, no, not in open air. You could also do it in a bucket. Okay, in a normal toilet bucket, a
Mm-hmm.
paint bucket.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in layers you fill that up and then you let it incubate at room temperature. Just do nothing to it. Let it eat the straw
Yeah, so we need to close the bucket with a lid or something, right?
with a lid or with plastic cling wrap or something, cling film.
Like an airtight container type, basically.
Correct, correct, correct.
Oh, okay. How does that smell? I'm just wondering.
Oh, it smells wonderful actually because especially when you're preparing grain spawn,
Mm-hmm.
it smells like a confectionery like bakery kitchen or something like that.
Oh,
Uh-huh. Boiling or actually a better what do you call that? Better example would be freshly brewed Bonvita or Milo,
oh,
yeah, or freshly boiled what do you call it? Ragi malt. You have ragi malt at home, right?
yes.
So similar smell it will be there. And while
Because
while you're preparing that bag, it smells like it has a very distinct earthy aroma.
earthy aroma.
Correct, correct. It's nothing foul,
Yeah,
unless you've done something drastically wrong.
exactly. I was thinking it may smell rotten food or I don't
No,
think.
while it's rotting, also it releases very sweet-smelling volatile compounds.
Okay, this I didn't know. Mm, this is incredible.
Yes, yes, it is really. It's very very interesting.
And they look so cute actually. Mushrooms look cute, by the way.
They do. Yes, I agree. I agree. They're very cute.
Like little Lilliputians, I don't know, with hats and all. They look really cute.
Yes, yes. It's like small human beings wearing a hat.
Yeah. So, okay, now we have, gone through the process of cultivating mushrooms and all, and finally the mushrooms have popped out and they are in your hands right now. So, how do you market and sell your mushrooms, given that people don't want to eat them or they have some mixed feelings towards mushrooms? And what are the current trends, by the way? Because I remember like when I was a kid, mushrooms weren't that often seen in my environment, but now they're everywhere. So looks like it's an upward trend. So how do you market and sell them, and what do you think about the mushroom industry?
Right. So in India, I'll give you a metric. There's a 7.6% CAGR, cumulative aggregate growth rate.
Mm.
Okay. So it's definitely on an upward curve.
Mm.
More people are becoming aware of mushrooms and their health benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the urban elite, basically,
Yeah.
the are very receptive to mushroom eating,
Mm.
and they're exposed to world cuisines
Yeah.
such as Japanese, Korean, Italian, Mediterranean,
Mm.
European food, where mushrooms are a staple.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to sell it to them,
Mm.
especially the more exotic varieties.
Mm.
They're very receptive to buying them and eating them.
Yeah.
Whereas on the opposite end of the economic spectrum, the rural India
Mm.
is also extremely receptive to eating mushrooms.
Mm.
It's a mainstay of their diet
Okay. So
in most rural communities
oh.
that I've come across, because it's a free source of protein,
Okay.
and these are mostly wild collected mushrooms all over India. The tribal communities also,
So
they eat a lot of mushrooms.
I have a small question. So these wild mushrooms, are they poisonous by any chance, or how do like?
Yes, so the thing is, never, but after listening to me, don't go out and collect wild mushrooms and eat them, okay? However, lots of wild mushrooms are edible.
Okay.
The varieties that I cultivate myself, they are also found in the wild.
Okay.
They've been brought out from the wild and domesticated.
Mm.
So their wild cousins live freely in the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
So lot of mushrooms are edible. Majority of them are edible.
Mm.
Some are inedible. They'll just give you an upset stomach. Okay.
Okay.
You try to eat them, you won't be able to digest them.
Okay. It won't
Lastly,
or something, right? They're not like ultra poisonous or something.
there are some mushrooms which are extremely poisonous,
Okay.
which even after you cook them thoroughly,
Mm-hmm.
will cause multiple organ failure
Oh my God.
after you ingest them, and very less chances of living.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Because especially this is a trend, okay? The majority of deaths related to mushroom poisoning
Mm.
occur in the remote areas of India and the world, where medical infra is very poor
Mm.
and very disparate, very far away.
Mm.
So these people, if given the proper medical care, urgent medical attention,
Mm.
they can survive even after mushroom poisoning.
Yeah. Got it.
The moral of the story is don't go out and collect random wild mushroom and eat them.
Yeah, thanks for that tip. And coming back, you were saying so the elite is eating and the rural parts of India is eating mushroom. So
Yes,
how about the
in between.
yeah, the in between people?
The in between are conflicted. On the one hand, more and more people are eating button mushrooms and oyster mushrooms.
Mm.
However, we need to invest more in consumer education
Mm-hmm.
and introduce them to these various other varieties. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, one more thing that is especially relevant in India, having I think it's 30%.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, but 30% of India is vegetarian,
Yeah.
due to either dietary preference or religious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important for us to target these people and explain to them that this is eating mushrooms won't be against your belief systems,
Yeah.
and that these are completely vegan, gluten free, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
I'm in the process. I'm trying my best
Okay.
within my society. Also, every person I meet, I try to explain to them that mushrooms are tasty. Give them a try,
Yeah.
so on and so forth. Out of 10 people, maybe 2 or 3 will convert.
Okay.
That's the goal. So basically I'm proselytizing. You understand? I'm I'm proselytizing mushrooms and converting people into mushroom eaters.
Exactly. Exactly. So, so how about your diet? So you include mushrooms in every each and every of your diets, or
I try to. Yes, I love mushrooms. Very delicious. I'm a big foodie. Okay.
about what are the health benefits? Okay, it's protein source that is known. What are the other benefits of eating mushrooms?
Right. So mushrooms have a very high antioxidant content. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Antioxidants help in cellular damage, repairing cellular damage
Mm-hmm.
in all organs of your body, right from your brain to your spleen, liver, spine, bones, nerve cells, muscles. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So mushrooms have a lot of antioxidants. Uh, oyster mushrooms have a compound called argothioneine,
Mm-hmm.
and it has a lot of starch compounds called polysaccharides.
Okay.
and it also has a lot of amino acids.
Hmm.
So these are some of these are only available in mushrooms. No other animal or plant produces these.
Okay.
Okay, and all of them have medically recorded benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Your listeners might want to do their own research, and definitely they'll find out conclusive evidence that
Mm.
mushrooms are very good for immune compromised people,
Mm.
people who have celiac disease, or are receiving chemotherapy, immunotherapy,
Mm-hmm.
who have so it's just simple, they have bad sinus problem,
Mm.
or who have a naturally low immunity, they'll definitely benefit from including mushrooms in their diet.
Great. Okay. And how do you keep learning and improving your mushroom farming skills? And what are your resources and who were your mentors when you started off and who are, still guiding you? Or what are the other resources that you recommend to our listeners who want to start something like this? Of course, you've given them a brief of how to get started, but how to
Right.
sustaining is one other challenge because we all get demotivated, and especially when it's tough time, people do kind of back off. Uh,
Right.
and I'm also curious, like, are there any myths around mushroom because of the texture or the way they look? I mean, are there any myths around it, like that people kind of subconsciously believe?
Correct. Mycophobia is a real thing. Okay.
Oh,
Mycophobia means a phobia of mushrooms.
oh my God.
Yes, people are there are people who are afraid of mushrooms. As you said, because of the way they look, the texture,
Hmm.
and especially the way they encounter mushrooms. Generally, people see mushrooms growing in dark, damp places,
Yes.
uh, on top of a sewer cover, or maybe across a flight of stairs.
Mm,
Right. So that perception exists.
mm-hmm.
However, with any phobia, it's up to the person to conquer it,
Mm.
if possible. It's legitimate.
Yeah.
But with edible mushrooms, definitely this bias, subconscious bias exists.
Yeah.
And coming back to your other question
Mm.
of how I began and who were my mentors.
Mm.
So my first mentor would be YouTube.
Wow.
Okay, okay. YouTube has been amazing for me.
So you're
Uh,
self-taught mushroom farmer, basically.
yes, I am. However, I've trained under the Directorate of Mushroom Research. Subsequently, almost 2 or 3 years after I began my journey. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I began with YouTube videos trying to understand mushrooms,
Mm-hmm.
and because I studied at a hotel management institute,
Mm-hmm.
I was exposed to a lot of mushroom varieties
Mm.
compared to the average person.
Yeah.
So I worked at a Chinese restaurant as well for a brief while,
Wow.
and there I came across all these exotic varieties, especially shimeji, shiitake,
Mm-hmm.
king oysters, things like that.
Mm.
And I loved each and every one of them. Each one tasted brilliant.
Mm.
They had an amazing texture,
Mm.
aroma. Okay, so that's how I was introduced to mushrooms.
Mm.
Subsequently, I undertook a certification program
Okay.
in 2021
Mm.
under the Directorate of Mushroom Research,
Mm.
which is based in Himachal Pradesh, Solan district, Himachal Pradesh.
Oh, okay.
They have regular courses also,
Mm-hmm.
6 month and 1 year apprenticeship,
Mm-hmm.
as well as having an online certification course.
This is amazing.
This is also available in Bangalore at Institute of Horticulture Research, Esargata,
Mm.
and various other agricultural extension institutes and universities all across India.
Got it.
these the crop scientists at these research institutions, they would be your most they would be your best mentors.
Okay.
Secondly, there are multiple forums, online forums with a lot of passionate mycophiles. People who love mushrooms are called mycophiles.
Oh, mycophiles. Okay.
A love of mushrooms is mycophilia,
Oh my God.
right?
Great.
So lot of people like me are passionate about mushrooms, and we engage in online forums. There are also research papers and journals, such as the International Journal of Medicinal Mushrooms. Okay.
Okay.
There's also Google Scholar is your best friend.
Yes.
If you have any query, you can search it on Google Scholar. It will redirect you to research papers that are available on the public domain.
Got it.
There are various other journals, research journals. There's one which is particularly been helpful to me, called the Japanese Edible Mushroom Journal, JEMJ.
Okay.
They have a subscription package, but it's more than worth it in terms of the pricing.
Okay. Amazing. So you.
And it's very important to, I believe it's very important to network. You can't develop in a vacuum. So it's best to collaborate with people. If anyone wants to develop their career or overcome any hurdle, they need to become friends with others who share the same passion.
Exactly. Got it. So how do you balance your mushroom farming business with your personal life? Like, does it get too hectic? 'Cause
It only gets hectic during the spawning stage and the harvest times.
okay.
And post harvest, within 1 week, hopefully it's been like that. In a week, I've been able to sell off most of my produce. The other 3 weeks of the month, they are not very hectic for me.
Yeah.
Only farm upkeep, farm maintenance, things like.
Okay.
So those don't take up too much of my time.
Okay.
Generally, I have a lot of free time, as opposed to a person who's going to a 9 to 5,
Agree.
or in some cases 9 to 9.
I agree. I can see that. I mean, you've immersed yourself so much in mushrooms.
Yes.
Now you've become like sort of a pro.
Yes. It's my livelihood now. So
Yes. And how has been the revenue? I mean, I'm not exactly asking for numbers per se, but how is the revenue coming in? Is it like how do you even go and sell to is it that you have a supermarket in your region that you tied up with, or some other.
the most important sales tactic is your pitch, or your the way you connect with people. There will be buyers, but the way you approach them is the make or break thing. Okay. Nobody can teach you sales.
Exactly.
You only way to learn it is experiential. No amount of executive MBAs or the likes will teach you sales. However, just doing your own research, starting out at a hyper localized environment, starting out with friends and family, mutual friends, so on and so forth, will be the best way to start.
Okay.
The next step logically would be to approach wholesalers. Okay. Then you don't have to deal with the risk of your inventory spoiling.
Yeah.
This is a perishable commodity.
Exactly.
Agriculture is time sensitive. Right.
Yes.
So it's you can't sit on inventory. Suppose you have a t-shirt printing business. a merchandise business, you can keep the inventory in a storage and wait for buyers.
Yeah.
Here it is extremely time sensitive.
Hmm.
You have to push the product within a given window.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you will only yield a suboptimal price because your product is degrading.
Yeah. Hmm.
So you have to keep these things in mind if you're trying to get into agriculture, not just mushroom farming, farming in general.
Okay. All right. So, apart from mushrooms, have you ever thought of farming any other product? I'm just curious. I know you are totally into mushrooms, but
No, harkening back to the beginning of the podcast where you said a bit about hydroponics.
mm-hmm.
Even I'm very passionate about hydroponics and soilless vertical agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the logical step for all of humankind
Mm.
because large scale traditional agriculture is slowly poisoning the earth.
Yeah.
It, fertilizers are leaching into our groundwater supply.
Mm.
Pesticides are killing off lots of beneficial insects.
Mm. Mm.
There's another phenomenon called biological magnification.
Okay.
So one tiny bug eating pesticides
Mm.
or being sprayed with insecticide
Mm.
will the insecticide will magnify the more it travels through the food chain.
Oh.
The insect will be eaten by let's say another insect.
Mm.
That another insect will be eaten by a bird.
Yeah.
The bird will die and will be eaten by larger birds.
Mm.
Those birds might be eaten by apex predators
Mm.
or by human beings. Uh, at each step of the food chain, these insecticides and pesticides, they don't go away. They multiply in the cell of the organism.
Oh my God.
And we see all the repercussions with the abnormalities at birth
Mm.
in children, miscarriages,
Yeah.
and tumors, cancers,
Mm.
so on and so forth. So I'm very passionate about hydroponics as well because we eliminate a lot of these problems in a controlled environment. We can remove pests from the hydroponic farm.
Mm.
We don't need pesticide, insecticides.
Mm.
We don't need to bore into the ground only. So we end up saving the topsoil.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that I plan in the future. Maybe I'll delve into hydroponics.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've mentioned already that mushrooms exhale carbon dioxide, right?
Mm.
And carbon dioxide are especially for ripening
Mm.
fruits and vegetables. Carbon dioxide is very useful for plants.
Okay.
So maybe I want to incorporate a hydroponic setup into my mushroom farming facility.
Exactly. So they'll complement each other.
Yes, yes, and on a business perspective, it will be an additional source of revenue for me.
Yeah, totally. More
Right.
power to you, actually.
Thank you, thank you.
Because I think very few people would delve so deeply into mushrooms the way you have uh, immersed yourself, and I think it's really incredible that you are doing this.
Thank you, Suchitra. I hope I have been able to convert you favorably towards mushrooms, huh?
I mean, I eat mushrooms, the button mushrooms that I get from the supermarket. Only that. It's
Wonderful. Even these normal supermarket button mushrooms,
mm,
they also are they're great for your health.
really
They are, definitely. But you've got to eat them in quantity. Don't eat one or two in a week.
okay, okay.
Eat according to your body weight, eat a good percentage
Mm-hmm.
and try to include it in all parts of your diet.
Oh.
Maybe if you're having a sambar, sambar dal,
Mm.
you can just put in a lot of mushrooms
Mm.
in it.
Mm-hmm.
As button mushrooms taste, they're lovely in taste only, right?
Yeah, so I actually picked them because they were cute, and I then started eating them, and I'm like, okay, this is fine. This is
Right,
this is interesting.
right. They're cute as well as tasty.
Maybe after hearing from you about all the other kinds of mushrooms, probably, one day I would come to your facility and have a look at all of that.
You're most welcome.
Whatever.
You can pluck your own mushrooms as well.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be so interesting.
Yes, yes.
So, what are your goals for this mushroom farming venture? So, where are you, where are you going to take this in near future?
uh, okay, I have a few ideas.
Mm-hmm.
One of them would be to explore the biotech side of things. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
mushrooms, these macrofungi, as I told you,
Mm-hmm.
they have a lot of applications. Not only as a edible vegetable,
Mm-hmm.
but in many other areas of human endeavor. So mushrooms can make leather.
Really?
Mushroom, yes, mushrooms can be a substitute for plastic.
Oh my.
Mushrooms can eat up toxic waste. Mushrooms can also be an alternative for styrofoam.
Oh.
So there are many applications of mushrooms, especially the fungus of the mushroom.
Mm.
By the way, the fungus of a mushroom is called mycelium.
Mycelium. Okay.
Mycelium, and mycelium has a lot of applications.
Mm.
Mycelium leather is being touted as the next big step in fashion,
Oh.
in sustainable fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Myco materials are being explored as an alternative to plastic packaging,
Yeah.
especially for perishable goods.
Mm-hmm.
Myco materials are also completely biodegradable.
Okay.
Uh, Myco materials are also being explored in the packaging industry for fragile goods.
Mm.
Instead of styrofoam, polystyrene,
Mm-hmm.
instead of that, these myco materials are being used. They have a similar density,
Mm.
uh, similar shock. They can withstand similar shock. Okay,
I think
but
in future I'll be seeing you doing all this.
hopefully there are some Indian and international brands which I'll give a shout out to.
Mm-hmm.
Dharaksha Eco Solutions is pursuing this in India,
Mm-hmm.
myco material fabrication,
Okay.
and there's MycoWorks. It's based out of the USA.
Mm-hmm.
MycoWorks now sells its high-end leather substitutes to, I believe, Prada, Louis Vuitton, and other luxury brands.
Mm-hmm.
And these people are at the forefront of myco material fabrication.
Wow. Oh my God, this is gonna change the world.
Hopefully, mushrooms have a lot of potential. They could actually change the world.
They look so tiny, cute, and innocent, but oh my God, look at the power they hold.
100%, yes, yes.
And thanks a lot, Ronak, for enlightening me and my listeners out there, or anybody who just wanted to know more about mushrooms and mushroom farming in general. I didn't know almost 80% of what you were talking. I have been enlightened.
Thank you, Suchitra.
Thank
Thank you for this opportunity. It was amazing talking to you.
It was lovely, lovely having you here. I mean, I could just imagine, like, you remember that Jurassic Park scene where they are trying to bring back dinosaurs?
Yes, yes.
When you were talking to me about, spawning and this and that, I was just imagining that scene from Jurassic Park when they take the blood out of that mosquito which bit the dinosaur back then and they're trying to bring.
Reanimated.
Yeah,
Right, right, right.
something like that to me, and it was like, oh my god, what?
That's an incredibly strange analogy, but it's amazing also.
It's just, kind of surreal and I would even say a little bit of divine. Do you feel very connected to nature when you are like bringing out mushrooms, like this process? I mean, farmers in general are quite connected to nature and are intuitive that way. Do you also feel that way?
It's true. Thing is, most people now are living in an urban bubble, right? The nature has impact. However, it's muted because of all the urban luxuries that surround us.
Yeah.
However, since I am involved with nature in the form of my livelihood,
Mm.
I'm definitely very connected to nature as opposed to the average person.
Mm.
But then again, we are all part of nature. If you have to argue,
Mm.
all that we are doing is probably natural.
Yeah.
You know, the cities that we are building are probably ant colonies. Maybe in the distant future,
Yeah.
we'll think of them as part of nature.
Mm.
So we are all part of nature. We are all connected to nature because we are nature. We are all animals,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of how much time you have to ponder on such questions.
Exactly.
And in the busy schedule of your life,
Mm.
how much time you have to devote to these questions.
Exactly. True. And thank you once again for, giving us your valuable time and explaining in detail of how this process even works and amazing, amazing talk, Ronak.
Thank you, Suchitra. Thank you.
You have a, what are you going to call your mushroom farming? Is it Ronak mushrooms or do you have like a cap?
I haven't thought of a name yet. I'm not registered as a company,
Mm-hmm.
so maybe in the future I will think of a name, and then I'll 100% I'll let you know.
Definitely, definitely.
Yes, yes, yes.
Probably,
But
I guess in future you will, touch wood, you would have expanded to all the other things that you've mentioned, be it packaging and leather substitute and all of that. I hope and pray that you get into all of it and, you know, and that you rock like the way you're rocking right now with your mushrooms.
oh, thank you so much, Suchitra. God bless you. Thank you.
Chalo.